Al, Mario is back, and he's got a Glock again.
2 of them.
2 Glocks. And he's ready to go shooty shoot.
Yeah, man.
It's what we've always been wanting and waiting for.
Mario with a gun.
Mario with a gun. Oh, man. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of the Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, and manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc, Al, and Ladium.
Hello, hello.
This is episode number 309, and we're going to be talking about the sequel to Mario and Rabbids. Or what it... Would you say this is Mario plus Rabbids, or would you just say Mario and Rabbids?
I find it easier to say Mario and Rabbids.
Yeah. Just makes more sense.
Although I do call somebody's blaring Elton John. I just hear I'm still standing outside my window. I do call games like it's a good song generally, but like I call things cross, so
yeah,
you
but
would think
that's not the
call...
cross symbol. I mean,
it's
is.
Not. It is, but it's not. But
not in the usual context.
Right. It's weird that I would say that it's easier to say Mario and Rabbids as opposed to Mario plus Rabbids when I say Mario, like if it were a cross symbol, I'd say Mario cross Rabbids.
Yeah. Either way, we are talking about Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, the sequel to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which came out, I don't know if you remember this, but that came out 5 years ago.
Jesus Christ, was it really 5 years ago?
Yeah, that was in the Switch launch year.
Ooh, that was such a surprise of a game, though.
It was, yeah.
Came out of nowhere and it was just good.
This is a game we have been very much eagerly anticipating because, like you said, we were really impressed with that first game and really wanted to see exactly what they were going to do with a sequel. And they certainly made a sequel.
They certainly made a sequel.
They made a sequel, like a quasi-sequel to the Galaxy games of all things.
Yeah.
Which is real wild.
I was like, okay, Rosalina's here. Cool.
Yep. This game came out on October 20th, 2022 on the Nintendo Switch. That's all it's out for. Because obviously it's a Nintendo property, so it's not going to come out on anything else, even though it's a Ubisoft game.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk a little bit about the development of this game real quick, because there's not a whole lot here on the wiki.
Okay.
Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope was announced at E3 2021 and released on October 20th, 2022. The game was co-developed by Ubisoft Paris and Ubisoft Milan, with additional work by Ubisoft Pune, Ubisoft Chengdu, and Ubisoft Montpellier. They have a bajillion studios. Good lord.
I noticed that when I was watching the credits for this game. I was like, Jesus Christ, there's so many studios.
Oh, yeah. Creative director David Soliani stated that the development team had viewed the game as a spiritual successor to the first. Interesting. And as a different take on the tactical genre, in part due to the game having expanded beyond the Mushroom Kingdom to focus on a range of galactic locations. Its soundtrack was written by Grant Kirkhope, who composed the soundtrack for the first game, Gareth Coker, who composed the soundtrack for Ubisoft's Immortals Phoenix Rising, and Yoko Shimomura, who previously composed for the Mario and Luigi series.
That's a hell of a lineup there.
That is.
Holy
they're putting a season pass out for this game, which I think is already out if you want to get it, which is going to have 3 expansions. One that includes the Tower of Doom, which is a post-game adventure featuring a new mysterious villain in an enchanted forest-like planet, and a Rayman adventure, which is interesting that they're putting a Rayman in a Mario plus Rabbids game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a wild combination of 2 platforming series from the 90s.
No kidding. It was nominated for some awards.
It was, yeah. But obviously, these have not gone through because those will come out at the end of the year probably. This game got an 86 out of 100 on the Metacritic. So favorable reviews all around for the most part. And yeah. It is a new Mario plus Rabbids game. I think the big thing to come out of this, I think, is like they did a lot of new things with the gameplay that I think are actually pretty good. Like there's more movement options that you are able to utilize within this game. There's just more options in terms of like skills and abilities that you're able to do with the introduction of the sparks, which basically make you have customizable characters for everyone because there's so many different options you can choose from. Because these sparks essentially are the Rabbid versions of the little doohickeys from Galaxy. I don't know what they're called,
Oh, shoot. I know what you're talking about.
but the little star dudes.
Lumas.
Yes, the Lumas. They are Rabbid versions of those. So like these sparks will give you, like we said, different abilities. Like they can give you whatchamacallit, what's the word I'm looking for?
They can make you invincible
They
for
can
a
make you
few
invincible,
rounds.
yeah. They can give you like
Elemental
that's the word
abilities.
I'm looking for. Thank you. Elemental abilities in terms of like, you can use that for your weapon attacks, you can use that for dashing into enemies, stuff like that, or just like an AoE attack. There's healing sparks that like you can just have a regenerative health every turn they use it. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's some that just like spawn in enemies if you want to like have more people on the battlefield that enemies can basically just like take pot shots at if you want, or they can also help you out on the field as well in terms of damaging enemies and all that sort of stuff. So it's a lot of different ways you can kind of customize how you want to play the game and like how you want these characters to basically play as, essentially, which I think is a really interesting idea to like expand upon how you approach each battle or just the battles in general in this game.
Mm-hmm. Like one of the things that I did pretty early on, and I felt like it was a really good move on my part. I think I'm kind of like tooting my own horn there a little bit.
Toot
Um,
toot.
Rabid Peach is your healer for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And she's got like some stupid good healing there. But I also gave her the spark that made it so that she can't be targeted for like
Ah.
however many moves once you level it up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I didn't have to worry about like protecting her or making sure that like if she's moving across the battlefield to heal somebody that like she's not gonna get shot at.
That's smart.
Um, I was like that I think this is a good way, and that's how once we got that spark, that's how she was the entire game for me.
Interesting. I don't think I used that on any of my characters.
Yeah, I was
At
like,
least in my main party, I should say. Like, I had Mario set up as he had his like default one that he had the entire game. I just kept that on him because I was like, this is fine. It basically just boosts up everyone's attack. I was like, that's okay. And then eventually I gave him the one that gives you a revive, which is very helpful in
yeah.
that game for sure. Luigi had the regenerative health, which also boosts up his HP, so that helps very much because like he starts off very low HP because he's a
Hmm.
sniper. And then he also had one that spawns in an enemy, and then Rabid Peach had a fire attack one because that just usually helped a lot in terms of just giving attacks out to enemies, and consider you can just hit them with the fire and they'll spread out and hopefully also set
Hit
their
other
their
people.
friends on fire, or they'll set yourself on fire,
Set you on
which is
fire.
also bad. And then she also had like an enemy one that she could spawn in as well.
So I had the revive and the um like can't be targeted ones on Rabid Peach. On
Mm-hmm.
regular Peach, I had the regenerative one. And then I would like alternate if there was an element that I knew that there was something weak to there, I would throw that on her. And then I would throw the other version, like either the dash or the weapon version on Mario.
Mm-hmm.
And Mario also had oh, he had the AoE for the goo,
Mm-hmm.
the ooze
Yeah.
thing. Um because it was like a stupid wide AoE and a lot of things were weak to that like throughout the game. So I was just like crowd control bloop.
Yeah, which is smart. Like, and you can even see just from how different our teams are similar, but also different. But like just how different our ability setups were for just how we approach this game,
Mm-hmm.
which I think shows just how much you can kind of do within the confines of the combat to really just make this experience your own, essentially.
Yeah, Peach has basically an umbrella cannon, which is kind of
Mm-hmm.
cool. Um, like you said, Luigi has like a bow and arrow sniper.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of bummed that he didn't actually get a sniper.
As soon as I saw he was a sniper, I was like, okay, yeah, I want a sniper on my team. because I know snipers and tactics games like this are just very good. So it's just like,
He's
yes,
broken.
especially like if you get both of him and Mario's Overwatch abilities like leveled up
Yep.
real high, so where like they can just like do pot shots multiple times in a single enemy attack or enemy turn. Like they're just like pew 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 pew, and this can just wreck. It's so good.
Get them brothers out there making chaos.
And the Mario one is just even more overpowered because like if he kills someone on it, like it just you get an extra charge up and just he can just keep going.
Yep.
It's just like it's ridiculous.
Yep.
Which is why like that was the only reason why I out of any of the characters in the game, like my main party I focused in on like doing the skill points for them specifically, and everyone else I just auto did because
Yeah.
I wanted those like specific abilities to be like really high powered just from the start.
Yep.
Even if though that was at the cost of like having lower health at some times, but like it was just like such a good thing to have, just to be able to be like to everyone.
I did auto on everybody, but then it readjusted for my main team depending on like how auto did it. It was like, I don't know how you're thinking that's a good idea, but we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we also like we had some new characters because last time we had Rabbid Peach, Rabbid Luigi, Rabbid Mario. We still have those
And Mario,
those
Luigi,
kiddos.
and regular Peach as well.
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention that, but they do exist.
Like those six they are returning from the previous game.
And then we got some new characters.
Yes. We get Edge,
Whew.
which is a Spark Hunter, or former Spark Hunter, I should say. She's basically one of the enemies turned good.
Yeah.
Who you meet very early on in the game. You get Rabid Rosalita, who is just very
Sleepy.
Yeah, she's a sloth.
She's done.
Yeah. She just only wants Rosalina to be happy, and that's it.
Yep.
And then also you get Bowser, which is real cool.
He has like
He's
a
a big boy. Yeah, he's a big boy. It's
Big
real
boy.
weird that like in some of the boss fights in this game, they let you have a four-player party, and it works really well. But then they're like, no, you only get a 3-player party for the most of the game. It's just like, what? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I wish they had let us have 4.
I guess it probably would have made the battles way too overpowered on your end if you had 4.
Ah. There were some that I was like, "Ooh, this is getting rough."
Some of those, there's quite a few of the survive for X amount of rounds fights later in the game that I'm just like, I don't want to do these.
Yep. Or like there are boss
those.
fights that keep going.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. Like I think like there are good things that they did to this gameplay, like we've said, but as we will get into it here, like it kind of feels like they were like, man, this is a sequel. We got to go bigger and expand upon this. And they may have done that a little too much in this.
Might have gotten a little too far. One thing I wanted to say about Edge, is that I said something, but then you responded and you were absolutely correct on it. Because when I first met Edge, I texted you, was like, what in the Kingdom Hearts is this? But then you met Edge and you had the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Which was?
She's a Sonic character.
Yep. Is she gonna make out Sonic now?
Oh, no, she's not human.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Sonic
right.
only makes out with the human ladies.
Oh boy, Sonic, please.
Yeah, she's very edgelordy looking, but like, it's something.
I basically never used Edge unless I was required to.
Yeah.
She is rabid.
Mm-hmm.
She is a rabid character. But a little less menacey than the other Rabbids.
A little less chaotic.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah. They voiced the Rabbids this time around, which I guess they did not in the last game.
I didn't even realize they didn't voice them until I read that just now.
Which I think like we were talking about this, like I think a lot of the characters in this game most of the characters in this game I think are fine.
Yeah.
I think the core trio of Rabbid, Peach, Luigi, and Mario do really well in this game, and they have a lot of good funny scenes with regular Mario, Luigi, and Peach.
Mm-hmm.
And when you add like Rosalina and Bowser and Rabbid Rosalina into that as well, like there's some really funny scenes in this game.
Yep.
There's also some characters in this game that I wish would have shut up and never spoke again. Which most notably was like a lot of the characters you meet in the planets, which I was just like, I don't really care about any of y'all. And then Beepo they just made like way worse in this game for some reason.
Yep.
And I don't understand why or how.
I don't understand why Bebo is so bad. And then Jeannie was okay.
Yeah.
Like I was not particularly bothered by her.
Because she's just the straight-laced AI who learns emotions over the course of the adventure.
That first dude in the first planet, and then well, honestly, there were several throughout the planets, but that first dude was like, "Oh my god, you are a giant moron. Could you please stop bothering me?"
Mm-hmm.
And you do get like their stories ish throughout the game because there's like murals that you can read, and Beepo tells you what they are about.
Yeah.
So you can figure out like what are the, I guess, caretakers of the planet. What's their what's the deal
What's
with
the
caretakers?
deal?
And so that's kind of how you get their story. But like sometimes I was just like, I don't care. Please stop talking. Please stop talking. Like the dude with the stilts on the like autumny planet
Mm-hmm.
that wanted to write poetry
Right.
would not shut up.
No.
Oh my god, he would not shut up.
So yeah, like I definitely felt like they wanted to expand upon like this, I don't know, story or series or whatever, just by, like adding a bunch of new characters in, but like just a lot of them I just did not, like you said, didn't care about. But like the core characters were great. I thought they were real fun, and they had a lot of good cutscenes. And it was just kind of disappointing that like everything around it was kind of just like, eh.
I was
could
a
do without.
big fan of Rabid Rosalina.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan.
I really like Rabbid Mario just being like a menace, just wanting to show off and flex on people and all that sort of stuff. Just being a real weirdo.
With that like strange accent that he's got.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
It's real good.
Real good. Oh man. He's kind of like a gym bro.
Yeah.
Which like is pretty funny to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Mario Rabid version being a gym bro.
It's real goofy.
It's real good.
So yeah, I think another complaint we had about this game is that they could have done without all of the planet. Like I think the thing for us is that like if you had done this game and just chopped off one of the planets in this game, it probably would have been a better cohesive experience overall.
Yes.
Just because like once you get to that penultimate planet before the final boss planet, it's just like you're kind of tapped out by that point. You're just kind of going through the motions and like, all right, let me go through all these battles just to make sure I get to the end and, you know, see this whole thing through because I'm already this far, so might as well.
And the planet's not even interesting. It doesn't do anything interesting. Like the other ones had some kind of like gimmicky type thing that was like, okay, that's fine. Like the first one had the like underground pyramid-y area.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, I'm trying to remember which one's the second one. The snow area had like the castle, which was kind of interesting. The autumn one had like inside the forest,
inside the tree or something like that, whatever.
Yeah. And then like you had the train.
Yes.
The choo-choo. But then like the last one had nothing that I was like,
it's just like
move
a big crane.
Yeah, move a big crane.
That's it.
Do you like shipping crates? Because you're gonna get a lot of shipping crates.
Do you like puzzles where you gotta make wires go to a certain place?
Oh no, I do not.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I do not like those puzzles.
I did not have as much of a bad time as you did, but like I can see how you would have had a bad time with those.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Because even I like, even though I wasn't having like as worse of a time with you, I was like, they did like 3 of them, and I was kind of like, after the second one, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm kind of
yeah.
okay. I'm done with this.
Yeah. Yep. Um, it is worth mentioning at this point, I guess. I did not 100% this game. I 99% at this game.
Well, like 100% in this game is like just getting everything. It's not like you didn't do all the story.
No, no, but I did all the story and I did all the little like gooey things and got all the information and got all the whatever junk is
Yeah,
in this game. Like all the collectibles except for the weapon skins because I literally do not care about weapon skins.
I think I was like at 80 something percent.
Nice.
Because yeah, I
Um
didn't get like most of the weapon skins. I just didn't care enough to get. I tried to get most of like the lore stuff, and I did most
yeah.
of the side missions. There was a couple I just didn't because there was one on maybe the autumn planet where it was like first to get a spark, but it was like you have to defend this central area and it only takes 4 hits and it goes away. And I was like, I did it once. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing this again. This sucks.
Yeah, that one was hard.
So I was just like, nah, I'm good.
Um yeah, so the reason I bring this up is that by the time that I got to that last world and there were all these like light puzzles, I was so burnt out by it that I was just
Hmm.
like, I'm done. I'm done, but I'm already this far. I can't just like not be a completionist here.
Yeah.
This is who I am as a person.
I will say as well, because I think it's important to mention this as well in terms of like gameplay. There is a lot of customization in terms of like the difficulty of this game,
Oh, that was great.
which is really nice. So like you can tune it to be like, how much difficulty or how much damage do you want enemies to give to you? How much damage do you want to give to enemies and all that sort of stuff? Like how much XP do you want after battle? Do you want to get healed after battle or just like when you level up and stuff like that? There's a lot of different just like ways that you can customize the experience again to fit how you want to play this game, which works because like it's a Mario game and a lot of kids are going to play this game for sure,
Mm-hmm.
and they may not be attuned to what a tactics RPG is. So giving them that kind of customization and accessibility options in terms of just like tuning the difficulty to make it easier for them, or you could make it way harder if you're an expert in these games. You really want to have like the kind of tactics experience you might get from other tactics series that aren't Mario, for example. So like it's good that like they're able to do that for like new players, experienced players, people in between. Like just give them whatever they want to do with this game in terms of like how they want to have the difficulty presented to them. I think that's like very good.
That was super cool. I agree with you entirely on that. I loved that.
Yeah.
It also made my life easier for some of the characters that I didn't use on the regular. That was like, oh, you want me to use Edge and I don't know, Bowser. Okay. Gonna turn down the difficulty.
See, I didn't even think to do that, and you said that, and I was like, man, that's smart. Why didn't I do that?
Yeah, I was like, nope. I value some level of sanity that I have left.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's what I did.
smart, smart, smart.
It was very cool.
There is a story to this game.
There's a story. You're correct. Cursa.
It's not necessarily the most bombastic story there is out there because, like, it is at the end of the day, it's a Mario game.
It's a Mario game. They don't usually have bombastic
No.
stories.
But like you said, the whole crux of this is that like they're all hanging out after what happened in the last game. All these sparks come out of nowhere, and we get this substance called dark mess, which I hated every time they said because I just want to say darkness,
Yep, I hated it too.
not dark mess.
Dark mess.
And then you learn that Rosalina's gone missing, and that there's this evil thing named Cursa who wants to rule the galaxy with dark mess, and you just got to go to all these planets to stop it from happening because you need to collect dark mess energy in order to be able to travel to the planet that Cursa's at. Essentially, that's the crux of this game. That's why you're going from planet to planet to planet to planet to planet and doing all this sort of stuff. And along the way as well, you fight off some of these minions of Cursa's that Edge also knows, and those are kind of like your big boss fights for this game essentially.
This has their name: Midnight, Bedrock, and Daphne.
Correct. those boss fights are, I guess, they're definitely different from the traditional battles because like you said, some of them will have multiple phases per se in terms of like, okay, well, you've defeated it this time, now we got to reset the board, and now they have full health again, and go at it again. And those weren't necessarily that great.
Nope.
There were some of them that were kind of gimmicky, and I think in a decent way at least, because like there's the one where you get Bowser for the first time, and the whole crux of that fight is that you have to lure the boss into the specific area and then shoot and like force it to basically break the arena and fall, and you have to do that 4 times. I thought that was the interesting way to do that fight. That's not just here's the fight 3 times in a row.
I agree with you.
Like that one was okay. I think the Cursa fight's all right. It is
when it doesn't crash in the middle of it.
Yes, that's fair. That is fair. I will say, like, the way that they kind of like force you into these specific teams wasn't as great, but it worked out for me because like it was just Mario on one team, Luigi's on one team, Rabbid Peach is on one team, so like those are my best 3 characters. They're all on a single team together, so I can just use them to kind of do what I want, and the other 2 on each team can kind of just like be there for support or kind of help if they can or whatnot. So that was a little bit beneficial for me.
The only team that I didn't have built up was the Rabbid, Mario, Rabbid, Luigi, and Luigi, but I had Luigi built up enough that he was just like breaking people from afar, which was nice. And he could reach Cursa really easy.
That's, again, it's a really nice thing.
Yep. And the further away from the enemy he is, the more damage he does. So I was like, you just stay away from her, but shoot her in the arm.
Yep. So you do that, you like knock her arms down, and then eventually like Rosalina pops out, and you have to like shoot these star things that charge up Rosalina, who does the damage to Cursa. And you do that enough times, and then you just win.
Yeah, like I said, unless it crashes in the middle of like I got through the entire sequence of defeating her arms, and once the cutscene started of her arms like dying, just system crash. So great, thanks game for crashing in the middle of it. So I had to redo that entire sequence. It was like 25 minutes of my time.
It's very rude.
Yeah, and like it was very obvious it was going to be Rosalina. Like it was not shocking. There's like this one part where they're like, "Oh, look at this blue eye." I'm like, "Oh, I wonder who that could be."
You do get that good scene at the end when like everyone teams up to fire off attacks at Cursa to defeat her. Very good. And then at the end, everyone goes back to the Mushroom Kingdom, and Rosalina's like, "Hey, good job, you did it." Yeehaw. Rabbid Rosalina's like, I'm going to stay here with my new friends.
I have friends.
She specifically says because she has family here, which makes this a Fast and Furious game.
Because
it's all about family.
Right. It's all about family.
It's all about family. Edge is also going to stay with her new friends.
Did we find out what happened to her old friends?
I don't know. She also says like, oh, they'll find some new work.
Oh my god.
And then the Rabbids try and play with Bowser, and Bowser gets real mad. And that's how they end the game, which is pretty good.
That's really good.
But yeah, I think we talked about this, and I think the way to describe this game is it's fine. Like, I don't think the story is as great or as fun as the original one, but I think as well because like it doesn't have the surprise factor that the original one had.
Yeah.
And it's hard to come out to make a sequel and make it as good as the original, I guess, and have that wow factor that like a surprising new entry into a series can have, and especially because you're going to be like, I want to make this bigger and more out there than the original, and that can sometimes have problems attached to it.
Sometimes you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, as we see here. But like there are definitely some fun things here. Like I think, like you said, some of the cutscenes are really fun. I think the gameplay improvements they did are pretty good. Like they make the game more fun to play and just a more balanced experience overall than the original game. So yeah, like I think overall it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty invested in the the love story of the shoot, wood chopper man. What are those called?
The lumberjack.
Thank you. And the like, I don't know, she was like a druid type thing. I don't remember what she was. Um, I was pretty invested in that. And then I was really, really invested in the fact that Jeannie's like, what is this feeling I'm getting from watching this? And then like she meets the train conductor and ends up like basically falling in love with this like dude train conductor.
It's a weird dude.
I was like, all right, I like this. I'm into it. He's just a weird, weird train conductor. And she's like, this one, this will be my first love. I'm like, girl, okay. You know, you do you, but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just, I think the game just tried to put too much in.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
I think even with all that said, I would not be opposed to playing another one of these.
No, I'd still play the next one.
Yeah.
I probably would try and convince myself to not be such a completionist, but
Yeah, don't do
you
that.
know, it's me and that's how I do things.
Bunk,
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 bunk.
bunk.
You know me.
That's true. I do know you. So yeah, that is the Mario plus Rabbids. Those are the sparks of hope, and that's basically gonna do it for our episode this week.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you got to enjoy this episode while still in a food coma from Thursday, or if you're listening to this well after the fact, go into a food coma and then listen to this podcast again, and then spend a lot of money, and then you'll feel like you're in the spirit of late November.
Yeah.
That's how that goes. So yeah, that's going to do it for this week. If you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, is where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Jared Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Ann Ladium, go to annladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. You can buy our books, One Shiny Moment, a critical analysis of Love, Life, Sunshine, and Hot Tubs and Pac-Man on Amazon.com. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. Buy us a slice of pizza, get access to unedited versions of the podcast early, and a whole wealth of bonus content as well. Next week is next week Otome time.
If you would like it to be, because I finished it.
Okay, then it's going to be Otome time for our first episode of December.
That will be Paradigm Paradox.
Paradigm.
You're gonna start calling it like
Cupid Paradise.
Cupid Paradise.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week. Probably the week after, we'll talk about Resident Evil 8.
That makes sense.
And then we'll head into our trio of late year episodes where we'll have the 2023 preview, we'll have our Christmas episode, and then we'll round out the year with Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
So look forward to all of that in the next month. And we'll see you next week with some more, with our final Otome of the year.
Final Otome of the year. I mean, final Otome episode of the year.